Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm super happy to have you back. Thanks for coming back again. If you're new, you're welcome. Please kindly hit the subscribe button to get notifications when I post new videos. Okay, let's get started. In my last upload, I uploaded a video on how I was able to cut this trouser. This trouser is called Patiala salwar or dhoti trouser. It's an Indian traditional wear. It is really easy to sew and also to cut. So many people have styled this trouser different ways. If you watch this video to the end, you will learn how to make it. So let's get started. Okay, from my previous video, I showed you all how I was able to get this pattern right here. The middle one is called the kali, and these two parts makes up the one part of the trouser. So one part of the trouser has three pieces like so. So all we need to do now is to sew those two lines together, as you can see right now. Okay, just simply sew the two lines together. Okay, so after doing that, the next step that we're going to be doing is placing it like so. And the next thing that we'll do is to sew this line. That's the crotch depth. The crotch depth, yes. With this line where I'm showing you with my hands, we're going to sew it with like ½ inch sewing allowance. You know, this trouser is oversized. Okay, the trouser is oversized, so lots of yards are involved here. A lot of inches are involved, so it doesn't really matter if you catch more than half, but what I did was ½ inches. So as you can see here, when I finished sewing, then I pressed open. Then what I'm doing here is marking 2 inches from the line, that's the crotch that I joined together, marking 2 inches beside both trousers. Then I make a pleat like so, like I'm doing in this video. Okay, just mark 2 inches, make a pleat, and let your pleat match in the line, like where the place that you sewed. Let your pleat match like I'm doing in this video. Okay, so after doing this, I use pins to hold the pleat together. So I'm just trying to show you guys what I'm doing. So I brought out my band. Remember that we have a 10 inches band. So you mark the midpoint of the band like I'm doing in this video. I have marked it already. Okay, so I'm just showing you that I marked it. So I'll be placing it at the point, that's that midpoint, that's the sewn, the part that I sewed. Okay, so I'm just placing it together like so, and I will also pin it. Okay, so I'm just taking out the pins instead of using new pins, just taking out the pins that I use in holding the pleats together, you know, to hold the band and the trouser together. So you continue to pin the band and the trouser with the waist of the trouser together until you get to like 12 inches. You just leave 12 inches, don't pin 12 inches to the waist, like I'm going to show you right now. As you can see, that's like 12 inches that I left unpinned. So on both sides of the trouser, remember that we have two trousers together here. So on both sides of the trouser, you're going to pin and leave 12 inches on the waist, like I am trying to show you. I have done the other part. I'm just going to show you right here on this part. See, I'm measuring 12 inches, then I mark. So all I do is pin to that point where I mark and stop at that point. So it is the same thing, just the way I pinned it. That is how I'm going to sew it. I'm going to stitch down ½ inch allowance and stop at the 12 inches that I marked, like I'm showing you in this video. So I'm just about to sew it and show you guys. So guys, please subscribe to my channel, okay, if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the like button and kindly share my channel with your family and friends. Thank you so much for your continued support. So as you can see, I have stitched already, and these are the SS. This right here is the SS fabric. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm just showing you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pleat the excess of those fabric, that's the excess, until it matches with the 12 inches, like I'm just showing you here. Remember to use your iron to pleat properly. I'm just giving you an instance on how I was able to achieve that. I continue to pleat until it matches with the 12 inches. Then I went ahead to sew. Remember that was a rough attempt. You have to use your irons to pleat properly and use your pins to hold your pleats to stay. okay, before you can obviously stitch like I'm doing in this video. Okay, so remember that the first crotch that we joined was the back crotch. So now we are going to be joining the front crotch line or crotch depth like I'm showing you in this video. This is the crotch depth plus the band. But you're going to start your sewing, that's your half-inch seam allowance. You start sewing after 2 inches, like you can see in this video. Now I did not start sewing from the beginning. I left 2 inches. That's for to make a casing for the rope or the drawstring that I'll use for the rope for the waist of the trouser. So I sewed down with half-inch sewing allowance down to the crotch depth. Okay, so after doing this, the next step is now to sew uh, the the allowance to just make it neat like I'm doing in this video. Okay, that's okay. I'm just sewing it up, and just to make the casing of the rope, I really wanted the trouser to be so perfect. This trouser was so neat, so I'm just sewing the edge of the sewing allowance or the seam allowance, okay, for the crotch. Okay, so that when I'm trying to sew my casing for the drawstring or for the rope of the trouser, it's going to come out really neat. So just do it like I'm doing in this video right now. I'm just sewing the 2 inches that I left unsewn. Okay, I folded the edges, okay, so that the frayed part does not show. That's just simply what I'm doing here. You know, you could weave, could decide to do whatever kind of finishing that you want to do. So as you can see, I have finished sewing it like that. So what I'll do now is to sew my casing. So this was how I was able to sew my casing. So I'm going to sew all round like this, 1 inch casing for my rope, for the rope that I will, the space to insert the rope for my trouser. Remember, this trouser is not I'm not using zipper, I'm using a drawstring. So that's just basically it right here. I'm done. You can see how neat it is. So I'm just showing you the casing. It went all round, and it wasn't above 1 inch until it got to the other end of it. So this is how the trouser would look at this point if you're doing the right thing. If you have any question, do not forget to ask me, please. I am open and I reply all comments. So I'm just showing you that I'm going to put a rope. So now to finish my hemming for the entry or the feet of the trouser, the entry of a trouser, all you need to do is to measure the width of your trouser, so you can now cut out, should I call it a facing for your trouser, because you're going to be using elastic. If you remember, or if you have ever had these trousers, you realize that the bottom part, they also make like a kind of design. So it is all up to you and the kind of stitches that you want to make. If you want to make it simple like I will be doing in this video, you just cut out, like, maybe let's just say 2 inches okay, 2 inches by length, and the width of the trouser of the entry, that's the last part of your trouser that you earlier measured. So you add some inches just for safety. Okay, that's why you can see here that my elastic is the exact measurement of the trouser, but I added some inches in it. So I'm just showing you how I'm going to attach my elastic and sew it to the entry of my trouser. Like you can see in this video, I will, like, okay, if you kindly watch, you see how I'm attaching or folding down the hem of my trouser. Okay, so I'm sewing it on the elastic. I did not weave it because I'll still turn it again and stitch. You won't even see the elastic at all, hence the reason why I didn't bother weaving. So after sewing it like so, the remaining sewing allowance up, that is the space up, then I will use that to attach to my trouser, right side to right side. Okay, so I'm sewing on the right side here. Okay, I'm just telling you that I'll be trimming that part off. This is right side to right side. I'm sewing on the right side with my half-inch sewing allowance. You could decide to sew on top of the elastic, including your sewing allowance, or you just focus on the sewing allowance. I don't think it has any difference, but right here, I'm sewing on top of the elastic, just very few, a little part of the elastic. So after that, you'll now be folding like I'm doing in this video. This now forms the hem of your trouser. Then I made a stitch on the bottom part of it and also made another stitch up. So you could decide to also make maybe a zigzag stitch in the middle of your elastic. It depends on you and how you just want to make your trouser really fanciful. But right here I only sewed twice, like you can see. Okay, I'm going to sew again now on the upper part of the elastic. So this is just basically it, like so. So that is how you hem your Patiala salwar trouser. This trouser is really easy to make. Don't get discouraged. I know it looks really difficult, but it's really easy. If you have a question, like I've said before, do not forget to drop a comment. Okay, I'll reply to all comments. So this is basically it, how to hem the entry of your trouser. I've done in the first and in the two entry of the trousers, like you can see in this video. And the next thing that I'll be doing is sewing along my seam allowance and joining it down to the other entry, like I'm doing in this video. Okay, so now my entry, you measure the entry of your trouser. My entry is 15 inches. As you can see, I'm measuring 7.5 and I'm marking my 7.5. Okay, so from that entry I sew down to the other part. So when I get to the other part, I also mark 7.5, just so that the two entries of my trouser are the same. So you sew down like I'm doing in this video. Okay, so right now we've gotten to the end. Remember that my entry was 7.5, so always measure your entry, and also depends on how tight you want the bottom of your trouser to be. Okay, so make sure you measure out the way that your trouser can still enter. So we're almost done, guys. The next thing that I'm doing here is just to make my rope. That's my drawstring that I'll be using for the waist. Okay, it's a drawstring trouser. Okay, there's no zipper and all that, so I'm just here making my rope. As you can see in this video, I just cut a sash of almost maybe above 60 inches, depends on your waist. If your waist is bigger than maybe 35 or 36, you could maybe increase it up to maybe 70 inches. So now what I'm doing is passing my rope through my casing. I am using a safety pin, like I'm doing in this video. I'm just passing my rope down. As you can see, I'm done passing my rope, guys. This trouser is really, 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 really easy. Okay, so you decide on what to do to the tip of your rope. You could get all those fancy beads, you know, just to make it really nice, or you could just knot it like I'm doing in this video right now. Okay, so basically this is just how to make your Patiala salwar. It is really easy. As you can see, my trouser is ready. You could see the pleats well laid. So that's to show you that I actually used iron to do so. And you can see the inside of my trouser really neat as I weaved everything that I used. Okay, so guys, tell me what you think about it. Please do not forget to send me a video of your work. Okay, and I'll be so excited to watch it. If you have a question, do not forget to ask me. I reply to all questions and all comments. Thank you so much for always watching my videos. Thank you for sharing my videos. Please do not forget to subscribe. Okay, subscribe and share my channel with all my videos with your families and friends. So guys, this is basically my Patiala salwar. I'm yet to make a top for it. When I do, I'll upload a video of me rocking my outfit. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.